I'd just like to start by saying special thanks to the historian Olaf Timmermann, who contacted me in February 2024 from Germany as a result of my first video introducing the restoration of this engine. This Rolls-Royce Merlin MkXX engine was built at the Hillington plant in Glasgow in early 1942, and it was given the serial number 54967. The Halifax was then delivered to number 405 Vancouver Squadron, Royal Canadian Air Force at Pocklington in East Yorkshire, under Commanding Officer Johnny Forquier, one of Canada's most successful bomber pilots of World War II. The aircraft was given the squadron code LQ and the call sign H. The last flight of W7715 took off from Pocklington on the 29th of June 1942 at 11:04 p.m. with the following crew members. The pilot was Flight Lieutenant H. Liversidge. Sergeant L.H. Bradbrook was the flight engineer. Sergeant W.E. Alcazar, Royal Canadian Air Force, son of Henry and Lady Alcazar, Mayor of the Port of Spain, Trinidad, as the air observer. Sergeant A.G. McPhee, Royal Canadian Air Force, wireless operator, air gunner. Sergeant L.N. Dialov, Royal Canadian Air Force, air gunner. Sergeant J.E.T. Foote, air gunner, and Sergeant J.W. Drummond, Royal Canadian Air Force, air gunner. They took off along with 8 other 405 Squadron Halifaxes for a bombing attack on Bremen, Germany. These runways still exist at Pocklington, and it's been home to the World's Gliding Club since 1969. On the return journey, they came under fire from ME-110 night fighters from 2 NJG-3 and were shot down by Unterofficer Alfred Brackmann, the aircraft crashing between the villages of Survold and Borgermoor. A local eyewitness reported that the aircraft exploded in mid-air, with one wing landing in a peat bog a few kilometres north of the main crash site, the engines becoming detached and disappearing below the surface. 6 out of the 7 crew members lost their lives in the crash. Sergeant Drummond was captured and taken prisoner of war. The remaining crew members are buried at the Reichswald Forest War Cemetery in Germany. In total, 3 out of the 9 405 Squadron aircraft were lost on this raid. In July 1995, 2 engines were discovered during the construction of the ATP Automotive Test Track east of Papenburg, after the peat bog was removed to reveal them sitting on a bed of sand about 3 metres below the original surface. Historian Olaf Timmermann was contacted by the KBD in Hanover, the Explosive Ordnance Disposal Service, and he found the serial number of the aircraft on some of the maintenance hatches that remained. The engine, and possibly both of them, were then moved to the Luftfahrt Museum in Laatzen, Hanover, and Merlin 54967 was placed on display there until I purchased it in 2017. Soon afterwards I restored the propeller and the CSU, which is the propeller governor unit, but the restoration of the engine itself didn't commence until December 2023. Once completed, it'll be a living memorial to the 6 crew members who lost their lives on that fateful night in 1942.